Hi there, this is Cory McLinsay with Venture Real Estate in Bismarck, North Dakota, and I have a very short video for you today, but I think you're gonna get a lot out of it. So today's video is about the #1 mistake that I see buyers and sellers making in a real estate transaction. And no, it's not something like you didn't get pre-approved or you didn't declutter your closet or something like that. That's not it. The #1 mistake that I see people making is they make bad decisions. And they make bad decisions for a really specific reason, and I'm gonna let you know what that is in just a second. But if you make better decisions, you'll have better outcomes. So while a lot of agents out there like to think that they walk on water or something and that they can negotiate circles around everyone else, I don't think that that's the case. I think part of my job as an agent is to help my people think more clearly and make better decisions, because that is ultimately who is going to make the right decision for them. It's not about winning a negotiation so much as it is making correct decisions. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, what's causing a problem? What's causing a problem, and we all do it in our lives, by the way. I'm not just singling out people in a real estate transaction. It is a cognitive bias. That is the bug that is in every human being out there that causes us to make flawed decisions. Though there's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of cognitive biases, and I'm not an expert in all of them, but the one that I see a lot is called a confirmation bias. The confirmation bias is sort of how it sounds. It's taking new information and applying it to things that you already think are true and reinforcing those things that you already think are true. So this works perfectly in politics. There might be an objective fact, and if you lean to the right, you're gonna take that information and you're gonna further agree with what you already agree with. If you lean to the left, you're gonna take that information, same thing, right? So how does that apply to a real estate transaction? Okay, I'm gonna pick on a seller first. So what this would look like is if you're trying to sell your home, you need to make a really smart decision right up front with where to price the home, because that is quite honestly the first thing that someone sees when they look up your home online. They might see the front exterior photo and they look at the price, because everyone's in a price category, right? So if you want to shoot for the moon on the price, you had better have an amazing out of this world property. That's just the way it goes, right? So right when you're pricing your home, here's what that confirmation bias looks like. You are looking at your neighbor's home that sold, and maybe your neighbor's home sold for, make up a number, $650,000 is what your neighbor's home sold for. And then you say, yeah, but my neighbor had a smaller backyard than me, and well, when the sun sets, it's right on his back deck and it's so hot back there, but mine is awesome, right? It's all in the shade, so much better. Mine should sell for $700,000. Okay, so that is a trap. That is a confirmation bias trap. You are cherry picking information and applying that to your own situation. You are taking what you already think to be true, which is my property is better than that property, and now you're cherry picking information and applying it here to this situation. And honestly, that's the beginning of a bad decision. That is how bad decisions start. So how do we counteract that? Well, I have a job for a reason, and part of the reason why I have a job is you need to hire a professional that can be in your corner, that can help tactfully point out when maybe your thinking is a little bit flawed. So in a situation like this, perhaps that real estate agent says, yep, I know that that house sold for $650, and yep, I know that you want $700 for your house, but tell me, how does a house that is the exact same model, just in a slightly different location, sell for $50,000 more? And maybe let you chew on that question for a little bit, right? Because maybe you don't have a great answer for it. So maybe you say, well, my deck faces a different direction. Somebody's gonna appreciate that. Okay, but then just ask yourself the honest question. How does that equate to $50,000 more? So this is how you start getting on the road to making better and better decisions. Now, that's an example that I see most frequently, where a seller overvalues what they have and undervalues what someone else has. But I've seen the opposite as well. I've seen sellers who don't think that their property is nearly as nice as what their neighbor's was, and I have to coach them up a little bit and say, okay, you might like the paint color of that house a little bit, but the paint color really doesn't determine necessarily the value of the home. You've got something really nice here too. So it goes both ways. But the point is, to make better decisions, you've got to surround yourself with someone who can help you see things objectively. That's part of the reason why I have a job, is because I am objective in the situation as much as anyone really can be. And therefore I see things from just a different vantage point, a different perspective. So that is how an agent is going to help guide a buyer and a seller in a right direction. But just be aware that whenever you're doing anything that is emotional at all, and buying and selling a home is absolutely emotional. When you're doing something like that, you need to, just as Ice Cube said, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And if you don't do that, you are heading toward the road of making a wrong decision. Okay? So that's all I have for you today. Again, my name's Cory McLinsay from Venture Real Estate in Bismarck, North Dakota. I am more than happy to answer any kind of real estate related questions that you might have. Feel free to reach out. I'm an open book. Thanks so much.